All right, good morning, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. Luciana and Celine, if you can just get me those papers as soon as possible, that will help.
Miss Blackmon, she sent it.
Okay. It just hasn't come through yet. All right, Daniela, did you join us? Daniela? Luciana, I just got yours. You're good. David, did you join us? Daniela? Camilla R? Leon? All right. All right. Luciana, I just got it. You're good.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Looking at yesterday's math homework. Let's look at yesterday's math homework. Some of you did really well. Others of you, I don't know what you were doing because you didn't follow directions. All right. So on 1 and 2, it told you exactly what to multiply by. I think everybody got number 1 and 2 right. So I'm moving to number 3. Number 3 was 3/5. Then it said times, and then it gave you the denominator of 10. Okay, you had to figure out 5 times what number equals 10. That would be a 2. Some of you from here got lost. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So 3 times 2 is 6. All right, the next one was 1/6 times, we don't know what, equals 2. Okay, what we look at is 1 times what gives me 2? 2. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. 6 times 2 is 12.
Miss Blackmon, can you move your board a little closer because I can't see? Okay, thank you.
All right. The next one, a lot of you got lost on. 1/4 times blank equals 100. All right, you had to figure out 4 times what equals 100?
25.
25. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 1 times 25 is 25. All right, the next one, you had 2/3 times blank over blank equals 8 over blank. So I had to figure out 2 times 4 is 8. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do the bottom. So 3 times 4 is 12.
Miss Blackmon, are we grading them or just?
Yeah, you can grade it.
Okay.
This is page 427. Page 427. All right. I'm not going to go over every one of them, but I am going to go over 2 in each section. All right. On section 7 through 14, I told you to multiply them by 2. So I'm going to look at number 10, which is 3 over 12. I'm going to multiply it by 2. I have to multiply it by 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. So I get 6 over 24. This is number 10. So I get 6 over 24. Yes.
I multiplied by 3.
Yes, I gave specific instructions to multiply by 2. But if you multiplied by 3 or 4 or whatever, I went ahead and gave you credit for it. All right. Number 12. Number 12, you had 5 over 100. I multiplied by 2 over 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 100 is 200.
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
for number 10, did you go over that one? Like, went over with us?
Yeah, it's the first one on the board here.
Okay, so because I got confused, I thought you were talking about number 7.
No.
Okay.
All right. Then in the bottom section, I'm going to do number 16. So I had 4 over 10. And I'm going to write it twice because I told you to multiply it by 2 and to multiply it by 3. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 10 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12. 10 times 3 is 30. So that's what you should have gotten on that when you multiplied it by 2 and by 12. All right, so that's how to multiply fractions to get equivalent. That is when you're going from a smaller fraction to a larger fraction. That's when you'll use multiplication, okay? We do what's called simplify. Simplify is using division, which is what we're gonna do today. But what we just did was making an equivalent fraction. All right, let's move on to 8-4.
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
why didn't we do on the whole thing for 7 through 14, 1 through 6, and 15 through 18?
What do you mean, what did we do?
Why didn't we do the whole thing?
Because it's gonna take too long and I've gotta do both math and science.
Okay.
All right. All right. So talking about equivalent fractions with division. Now, when you're talking about division, you're talking about making a fraction smaller. So if I have the fraction 6 over 10 and I want to make it smaller, I have to figure out what number can go into that to make it smaller. Well, I know that I can divide 6 by 2 and I can divide 10 by 2. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. You don't have this page. I'm just showing you an example. So this is what we're doing today. Whatever you divide the bottom by, you have to divide the top by. All right. Now, I want you to look at page 431. 431. $431. Celine, the science still has not come to me.
I don't know how. She really sended it.
Well, she may not be sending it to the right email address. Tell her I have not gotten it yet. All right. So on page 431, I just did 6 over 10 with you. So I'm going to move to number 4. 8 over 12. All right. Yes, we're doing lesson 8-4, Lillian. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my factors of 8 and my factors of 12. What are factors? Anybody know what factors are?
Two numbers times it to equal the other number.
Correct. All right, so I know 1 and 8 are a factor. 2 and 4. Nothing with 3. 4 repeats. So 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, I want to find the biggest number that can go into both of these. Well, one can, but that's not the biggest.
Miss Blackmon, I can't see.
Okay, 1 can go into them, but that's not the biggest. There is no 8 in the other one, so we can't use that one. There's no 12 in the 8, so I can't use that one. 2, but that's not the biggest. There's no 6, there's no 3. 4 is the biggest factor.
Miss Blackmon, I don't get how to divide it. That's the problem.
We're not dividing yet. All you're doing is finding the factors.
Miss Blackmon, I don't get it.
Okay, guys, stop. Listen. You have found factors before. Finding factors is the two things that multiply together to give me that number. The two things that multiply together that give me that number.
Miss Blackmon, what number are we on?
We're on number 4.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now, 4 is the biggest number in both my common factors. So that means I'm going to divide this by 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. Now I'm going to divide. How many times does 4 go into 8? It goes in 2 times. How many times does 4 go into 12? It goes in 3 times. That's the answer at once.
Now, what are you multiplying it by to get the other factors?
What do you mean, what am I multiplying it by to get the other factors?
As in, how did you get those certain factors? Isn't there...
1 times 8, 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 4 is 12.
Ah, get it.
It's just factors like we did before, guys. All right, let's look at number 5. Is 8 over 12 equals, I'm going to put divide by, equals something over 3. All right, 12 divided by what gives me 3? Twelve divided by what number gives me 3? 4. So that's like saying 4 into 12. It goes in 3 times. Whatever I do here, I have to do here. So 4 goes into 8 2 times.
It's just like the one we literally just did.
Yeah, except you're dividing now. All right, I want to skip down to number 17.
It still doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I'm skipping down.
I don't get it. I don't get number 5.
Okay, number 5, it already gave you part of the answer. All you have to figure out what you divided by to get that. Okay, I'm skipping down to 17 because it gives you nothing but a fraction. So 20 over 100. 20 over 100. What can I divide both those by? What number will go into both 20 and 100?
2, 5.
Okay, I've heard 2. I've heard 5. What else?
10.
10. Okay.
15.
4. 15 won't go into 20.
6.
6 doesn't go into 20. All right, so I want to pick the biggest one that I have in this circle, which is 10. I'm going to divide it by the bottom and the top. So how many times does 10 go into 20? 2. How many times does 10 go into 100? 10. Now, I'm going to use those same factors. I'm going to use those same factors. I'm going to pick another one. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick another one. So I'm going to pick 5.
I can't see Miss Blackmon.
So I'm going to pick 5. All right, 5 goes into 24 times. 5 goes into 120 times. So there are 2 equivalent fractions on my board now to 20 over 100. 2 over 10 and 4 over 20. Let me ask you, could I have picked 20 as a factor? Let's try it. 20 over 100. Divide it by 20 on the top and 20 on the bottom. 20 goes into 20 one time. 20 goes into 100 5 times. So there's another equivalent fraction.
It still doesn't make any sense. I get it. I get it now.
Good. All right, moving on. Let's look at number 19. You've got 16 over 12. $16 over 12. All right. What can go into both 16 and 12? Well, I know 1 can. 2. What else? 4.
3.
Nope, 3 doesn't go into 16.
8.
8. 8 doesn't go into 12.
6.
7 doesn't go into both of them.
9.
9 does not go into both of them. Okay, so I think this is all we have that goes into both of them. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 4. I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 4. So 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times.
Miss Blackmon, there's another fraction for that one.
What?
Oh, huh?
What?
There's another fraction for that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of fractions for this one. We're getting ready to do another one. All right. Another one is I could use the 2. So I've got 16 over 12 divided by 2 over 2. So 2 goes into 16 8 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. There's another equivalent fraction.
I need to write down my pattern.
All right. I'm going to give you some hints on your homework tonight. So if you'll turn to page 433. Page 433. All right. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4 tell you what to divide by. So there's no hints on that because it tells you what to divide by. Number 5, you're going to divide by 25. So 25 on the bottom, 25 on the top. Number 8, 9, and 10, you're going to figure out what they divided by to get the partial answer. So 8 divided by what gave me 2. 70 divided by what gave me 7. 9 divided by what gave, 18 divided by what gave me 9. Remember, whatever you put at the top, you have to put at the bottom to divide by that.
Miss Blackmon?
Yes.
Are we gonna do 6 and 7? I'm confused with 6.
All right, let's look at 6. 8 divided by what number gives me 2? 4. So if you use 4, you have to put 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. So 4 divided into 12 gives me what? 3. So your answer would be 2 over 3.
I get it now.
All right, on 9 through 16, listen closely. On 9, I want you to divide it by 25. On all the rest of them, 10 through 16, you're going to divide them by 2. Divide by 2. So that means 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom.
Miss Blackmon.
Yes.
Number 9 for 9 to 16. Number 9 we have to divide by 25.
Correct. Number 9, you're dividing by 25. And then 10 through 16, you're dividing by 2.
Miss Blackmon.
Yes.
Number 5 you have to divide by 25.
Yeah. Number 5. Yes.
Okay.
All right. 17 through 24. 17 through 24. You're going to divide by 2. And then I'm going to let you figure out a second number that you can divide both the numbers by. So, like on 17, I might do divide by 2 because that's what I was told to do. Then I might say, oh, I can divide them both by 100 and get 5 over 1. All right, so divide by 2 to get one answer. And then pick another factor that is a factor for both of those and divide them by that factor. Okay, are there any questions on math?
Miss Blackmon, can you read the homework again, please?
Yes. So 1 through 4, it tells you what to divide by. Number 5, you're dividing by 25. Number 6, 7, and 8, you have to figure out what you're dividing by. And put that in the top and bottom and divide both by it. Ramel, we're on page 433. Number 9, you're dividing by 25. Number 10 through 16, you're dividing by 2. Number 17 through 24, you're dividing by 2. And then you figure out another number to divide them by. So you're going to get 2 equivalent fractions on that.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. No, I do not need you to send this to me when you're done. We will go over it tomorrow. So no, I do not need you to send this to me.
What is science?
That's what I'm getting ready to go to. Are there any more questions on math? Anybody have a question?
Homework?
Yes, it is homework.
Oh,
Okay, any more questions on math? All right, on science today.
wait, what's homework for math again? I'm sorry.
It was page 433. Numbers 1 through 24. Numbers 1 through 4 tell you what to divide by. Number 5, you're dividing the top and the bottom by 25. Number 6, 7, 8, you're going to have to figure out what you have to divide by to get that the answer that they gave you. Number 9, you're dividing by 25. Both top and bottom. Number 10 through 16, you're dividing by 2, both top and bottom. 17 through 24, you're dividing by 2, both top and bottom. And then you're going to find another number that you can divide into both those to get me a second fraction. It's whatever number you want to choose. All right, again, do not send me a picture of this page. Yes, Salvador. All right, are there any more questions about math? Any more questions about math?
No. Yes.
Okay, what?
It was page 433, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Any more? All right, science. Science, I need you to do a couple things. Number 1, you need to study for your test. You need to study for your test. It's on food chains. Study your notes. Study the pages you sent me yesterday. Go back and watch the Brain Pop video. Okay? I did send the test on Sunday to your parents, but I will be resending it here in a little while so that they have it for tomorrow. Okay? Please do not start on it or do it until tomorrow, because I need to go over the directions with you. Okay? So you're going to study for the food chain test. Now, there is one question on there, and when I was making the test, it actually caught me and I got it wrong. So I want to explain it to you. It says the food chain going from the highest order to the lowest order. That means, like if I was going to do, let's do a snake. Okay? My highest order would be my snake. Okay? My lowest order would be the grains that the rat or the mouse eats. So highest to lowest is going backwards on the food chain from what we're used to. Okay? So when you're studying, make sure you know that food chains not only run from lowest, from the smallest to the biggest, but also runs from the biggest to the smallest. Okay? You have notes from both Brain Pop Junior and Brain Pop.
Is it the Brain Pop one? The quiz? Is that the quiz?
No, it is not.
Can we use our notes?
I don't know yet if I'm going to let you use your notes or not.
Okay.
No, we do not have a math test tomorrow.
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
I think I already did the test and sent you the picture of Brain Pop.
It's not the test from Brain Pop. It is not the test from Brain Pop. That is not what we're doing for the test tomorrow. All right. Are there any questions over what you need to do for science? Just make sure you study everything. If you,
What is the science test then?
it's one that I made that I'm sending to your parents tonight. Okay, it is not off Brain Pop. It's one that I made that I'll be sending to your parents tonight. Okay, if you have any questions about math or science, feel free to stay on. I've got about 10 more minutes. I can answer questions. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.